Welcome back to Lepodcast episode 15. As always, you're here with Hoop, Sainey, and the infamous ZZ Huncho. It's a beautiful Monday night on Long Island here in New York. I'm getting excited because the new 2K is coming out soon. I don't know if the viewers know this, but I've had a reputation in this podcast for just being very good at 2K. I don't know if they want to open up about it, but
I can smoke on
I
it.
have never backed that take ever.
Never have
All
I
right.
ever said that.
Okay. Well, they're gonna have to get used to it.
I mean, I'm being to be completely honest with you, Hoop. You're right. Like I gotta give you your props where it's due. So I'm gonna do it right now. Like on the show, I'll say it right now. Hoop in 2K, he's kind of mid. All right, he's just like
okay. Oh, don't make me say it.
He's not really like.
Don't make me say it.
He's not really like that bad.
You guys are fighting for second
listen,
place.
listen. We were me and Z were playing like this Play Now online with friends, and I was using the current Knicks. This is RJ Barrett is like an 85 overall. That's their best player. He used the Grizzlies, and he's like, "Yo, I'm a god with John Morant." I was like, "Okay, I need to find this out." Got stomped. Evan Fournier dropped like 35 on his dome. Then he's like, okay, that was pretty good. Now I'm still using the current Knicks. I want to know. He goes to the Derrick Rose Chicago Bulls. Stomped. Evan Fournier, like 40 piece, bro. I'm like that extended 2-3 zone. Then he's like, okay, you're pretty nice. I'm going to use the 16-17 Warriors with Kevin
And
Durant.
what happened?
And he won by 5. He won by 5.
Stomp that ass. That's what happened.
He won by like 5.
Hey, listen. A great man
okay,
once said,
you beat Julius Randle.
That great man's name was Dominic Toretto. He once said, it doesn't matter if you win the race by a mile or whatever the other thing he said. You just won the damn race. That's exactly what I did. I went out there and I did what had to be done. Listen,
I thought his quote was like family or whatever.
No, that was one of the quotes. It was.
I've never seen. He's what, Fast and Furious?
Somebody watched the first.
No. Let's continue. No way you just told me you
I've never
Fast and Furious movie.
Never.
Facts, bro. Wait, what?
Wow.
Anyway, the point of the matter is that Hoop and I went to 3. He thought he was going to sweep me. I physically could not let that happen. Like I felt like
Kevin Durant couldn't let that happen because it's impossible for him to miss a shot.
Nonetheless,
it is what it is.
It's just what it is, bro. Hoop thought he was like that.
Oh, all right. He got the best of me. But yeah, talking about 2K, it just came out that Russell Westbrook is 78 overall. Sainey was on the verge of tears before the show. But it is crazy though. Like I'm really upset by that because is obviously with the fit and the way he plays with the Lakers, it's like he's a 78 overall. But Russell Westbrook as a player is like an 81. Like he's regressed even with his bet. Like he's 81. Like an 80.
83, bro. 84. It's Westbrook.
I can see an 83, but like it's you have to take the fit into account a little bit. I'm just thinking it's disrespectful when you have Tristan Thompson as a 78 and Russell Westbrook is also a 78. That's ridiculous.
Come on.
How you're playing has to take into some account. Like he's throwing shots up the side of the backboard. Come on now.
Sure, but he also shot 40% from the corner and 3. In his last 10 games of the season, he was like 25, 7, and 7 on good efficiency numbers. Like, come on, man. He's not a 78. I'm not going to tell you he's a 90. I'm not even going to tell you he's an 85. Like, I get it. The guy's regressed. But a 78, bro. Like, they are smoking some different stuff. And I'm not going to go and be
Come on, Ronald.
PG-13 on this podcast. You know we're family friendly here. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, if I see Ronald, it is smoke from the get-go. Like, I'm looking at him and I'm saying, bro, we got to, like, no ifs, ands, or buts, bro. Like we gotta scrap this out, real talk. Like this
you know what's crazy is Ronnie's like he's like 6'6".
Bro,
have you seen a picture of him?
Bro.
Nah, bro. I saw because I don't follow him on Instagram, but he just popped up on like my feed, and him kneeling down to propose to his fiance. He was like the same height as her while kneeling.
6'6", 6'7",
was like
6'8",
the craziest thing I've
6'9",
seen.
6'10", 6'11". I do not.
Ronnie could
care,
definitely
bro.
hoop a little bit.
I do not care, bro. You make Westbrook a 78, and there's a problem. There's a problem.
All right, well, that's all I got for the introduction. And as it goes for the headlines, there's really nothing to talk about. We're going to make something up right now. We're talking about 2K. LeBron James last year in 22 was a 96. I think we already went over what we think it should be rated next.
96.
Yeah.
But, we think it's still a 96?
Yeah, for sure. You average 30 points a game. Like, why not?
Fair. I'm just saying he shouldn't be the highest rated
I mean,
guy in the.
he didn't do anything to lose it.
Giannis is
Yeah.
97. Giannis is gonna be a 97.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about though is like because I'm looking at the 22 ratings. They have Paul George. Not only like an 88 is not a terrible like I think he should be like a 90.
Yeah.
But he's the 22nd highest rated player. They got DeMar as a 90. They got Chris Paul as a 90.
I can agree with DeMar as a 90, not Chris Paul, but DeMar like
no, but it's one thing to be like a 90, but being over Paul George like that.
No, I would put. I mean, like, I understand the rating on why because Paul George like DeMar did have an MVP type season, right? Like he was going
based on his season. I can see that.
Yeah, like it is just 2K is like an in the moment thing. Obviously, Paul George is better. Why is Chris Paul a 90?
Because he's the point guard.
Yeah, but seriously, no, but he should be like an 87, 88.
No, hell no.
Why? Why? Explain to me why he deserves to be a 90. Explain to me.
Okay, What
did he do this season to deserve a 90? What did he do this season to deserve a 90?
Did he not lead the league?
What did Russell Westbrook do this season to deserve an 80? Let's start there. What did Russell Westbrook?
At the end of the day, a guy like Hoop said, 78 is a guy like Tristan Thompson.
Chris Paul led the league in assists this year.
Yeah, but that's not.
I'm giving him a 90.
That's not a 90.
And they had the best record in the league.
That's not a 90.
They had the best regular season.
He's not 90 rated, bro. He's like an 87, 88, bro. Like he's not as good of a defender as he used to be. He's not as good of a defender as he used to be. He's not the same offensive threat that he used to be. Just because you can pass the ball doesn't mean you're a 90 rated. He's still a legend. Yes, sure. He's a great player, but he's not a 90 rated, bro. Like let's be honest. Okay? His defense regressed. His offense regressed. Why is he on the same level as DeMar DeRozan in 2K when it comes to 2K standards? If we're talking about players,
he's really got some smoke with Chris Paul.
No. I love Chris Paul. Oklahoma legend.
Let me know.
We had 0.5%. We had 0.5%. We had 0.5% to make the playoffs when Chris Paul was there, and he took us there. I love the guy, but I'm just being honest here when I say like why does Chris Paul have the same rating as DeMar DeRozan? Why does Chris Paul have the same rating as DeMar DeRozan? You know what I mean?
Hey, man.
Like on-court presence, Chris Paul is better. On-court presence, like yeah, Chris Paul's sick, but we're talking about as a player, like your skill set, your offensive skill set, your defensive skill set.
I'm saying. I'm feeling you, but I'm saying if I'm in the booth and they're telling me who does he deserve a 90, I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's Chris Paul. It's Chris Paul,
so
bro.
Then what, the same applies to Westbrook. The same applies to Westbrook.
No, it really doesn't.
Yes,
That's the thing.
Yes, it really does, bro. It really does. Why does what? Okay, you look at me dead. I will let this go. If you can look at me dead straight in the face and tell me that Russell Westbrook and Tristan Thompson are on the same level, I dare you to tell me that with a straight face, and I will leave it, and I will say Z is right. I am completely wrong.
Z,
I want to see you with a straight face.
Say it.
Russell Westbrook and Tristan Thompson are the same player in two different bodies.
Yeah, get out of here. Bro, Westbrook, I will be the first to tell you Westbrook has regressed, and he doesn't deserve to be in the same category as guys like Trae Young, Kyrie, Chris Paul, all these elite point guards. He shouldn't be near their rating. But
Tristan Thompson Russell Westbrook.
Rating? Come on, bro.
So here's
Marvin Bagley? You're telling me Westbrook is Marvin Bagley? Are you actually telling me
Russell Westbrook, but he's with more Kardashians.
I'm in agreement with you that Russ should at least be at 80. Like, I've never been the one for Russ slander when it comes to 2K, because at the end of the day, like, the skill set that he does have is still good enough for at 80. At least between 80 and like 83 range, 84 range, whatever. But at the end of the day, I just think that it's hard to like rank certain players in 2K based off of where we think they end up in the realm of the league today. But in Chris Paul's case, it's like he's a 90, and I'm thinking to myself, like, when I think of Chris Paul, I think 90 just fits him. We know what he can do as a point guard and what he does for offenses and all of these things. Plus, in 2K, he's an A+ mid-range, A3, like an A- drop. Like, he still is those stats and grades. Russ, on the other hand, is like a C-3 to a D. In paint, he's probably at a C, which is wild as hell to say.
All right, we're gonna don't rile Sainey up too much, because we gotta move on.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
Chris Paul
we can
should
move
be
on.
an 88. I do not think Chris Paul should have the same rating as.
I think that's respectable.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's
fair.
respectable.
Like, bro, like I hate how 2K is just throwing 90s out like it's nothing anymore. Remember, bro, 2K15 there was four guys rated above a 90. Like, what is
Let's
this?
give Julius Randle one, huh?
What is this era where every player could just be a 90?
Come on.
There was a point in time where Kyle Lowry was a 90 rated, but let's just continue, man.
That is true. That is very true.
You're the guy who said you take prime Kyle Lowry over prime John Stockton
and
in a pickup game.
I'll take that. I'll take that Bunda 7 days a week if it means I get to watch it. But let's carry on.
So John Stockton would never be a 90 in 2K, is what you're saying. If we're talking this Kyle Lowry stuff, I'm picking your brain because that was a ridiculous statement you made.
You're trying to make me a hypocrite right now, Hoop.
Yes, I am.
Make me a hypocrite right now. Hey, all right. I was tripping with the Kyle Lowry thing. Whatever.
All right, yeah, you were.
Hey, he owned up to it.
He tried telling us when he had to pick like a bunch of point guards. He thought that was better than prime John Stockton. He said peak Lowry.
You guys
was
have
better
to remember
than
the
peak
context.
Stockton.
Like that was when it's all smoke on Stockton. Like I was just making.
At that point, like you could give me any reasoning, and I wouldn't even think to defend John Stockton. I just wanted to rile up Stockton fans. But
let's move
you guys
on.
got to give me this. At least every time I'm wrong about something, I will publicly come out on this show and say I was wrong. I will never.
Only because I poked at it.
Oh my god!
What do you want me to? You think I'm remembering this Kyle Lowry tape?
Facts.
Like,
if I'm
Sainey's
just like I said it. It's in the past.
Let's continue. That was a funny LeHeadlines. But anyway, moving into Believeland. Donovan Mitchell, if you've been living under a rock and you're an NBA fan, Donovan Mitchell got traded to the Cavaliers, not the Knicks. Am I right? Am I right, Z?
Yeah.
Not the Knicks.
Dorks.
Not right. The Knicks. But anyway, so I'll read out the trade package right now for you real quick, just in case the viewers have no idea what he was traded for. The Jazz acquired unprotected first-round picks in 2025, 2027, and 2029, plus pick swaps in 2026 and 2028. Also going to Utah is the 14th pick in the 2022 draft, Ochai Agbaji. I don't want to butcher the name.
The guy from Kansas who tore it up in the tournament.
Exactly. Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen. I think, in my opinion, it's a dub for both teams. I think both teams did exactly what both teams needed to do right now. The Jazz needed to do an uber rebuild. They got a total of 9 first-round picks.
I heavily disagree.
I disagree as well.
Why? What's wrong with the trade?
The Jazz could have gotten so much more, bro.
That's what I was saying. My initial reaction when the trade went through, because I saw it on my phone, it was like breaking news. D-Mitch is going to Cleveland, whatever. So my initial thought was, what did they trade? What did Utah get back for D-Mitch? They need a big man. So I thought that Jared Allen was
I thought they were getting one of the 4 or one of the 3 that they had between Garland, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley.
I was like, well, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, who hasn't been good since freaking Chicago, and then the other dude who tore it up in the tournament. What are they going to do with that?
I will say this. If we're talking about the Knicks package that was supposedly released, and that's what the Knicks offered. By the way, there's no like true backing on what exactly goes on.
For you guys out there, the initial package that apparently was turned down by Danny Ainge was R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, and 3 unprotected first-round picks I think it was just Donovan Mitchell. It might have been plus Bogey.
Yeah, but
or another piece.
Here's my issue with that. Like, if that is true, then the Jazz are tripping heavy. Like, they should have taken that. But that offer seems too good for Danny Ainge to say no to. And
what if he has beef though?
And here's the thing, but bro, come on. If you're putting your personal feelings in the way of business, you're not a good GM. And I
just saw too many reports saying that it's one thing, like if you look at it, it says ball sack sports, but it's another thing when it's like Ian Begley, like, or one of those like Ian Begley's a Knicks guy.
100%, but at the end of the day, you got to remember, like, and players will always come out and say this, like, you can never listen to the media fully. Like, the media will always try to grab your attention. There's always some bits and pieces that are left out. And here's my thing with it, and here's why I don't think that trade package is truly what was offered. RJ Barrett signed an extension with the Knicks before Donovan Mitchell was even traded, right? So that's before they even knew Donovan Mitchell was off the table. And the fact that they committed to RJ Barrett tells me that they pulled RJ Barrett from that deal. Like, they did not include RJ Barrett in the deal.
What happened with that was Leon Rose, the Knicks GM, gave Ainge a deadline of Monday of last week to make something happen with the deal they had out currently. I don't know if it was with RJ. There might have been like one where it was like just RJ and a pick or something.
Right.
And then the separate one with Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes. And they pulled because they didn't make a move, and they pulled RJ and signed him.
That just seems weird because you got to think of it this way. Like RJ Barrett the whole time knows he's just the Knicks' second option. Like imagine just like why would a GM string along a guy like that where he's like, yeah, we're only going to sign you if they don't meet this deadline by Monday, and then they sign him right after? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they told RJ from the start that they were going to keep him, and that's why they committed like $120 million.
I hope that they said that.
Like $120 million. Yeah. Exactly, right? Because RJ's just going to want to leave. Like, why would RJ be loyal to the Knicks if the Knicks aren't even loyal to him, right? Like, why would he commit to a franchise that's all committed to him? And they gave him $120 million. That's not a small amount of money to commit to a player, right? Which is why... Now, don't take this as my word. Don't be going on Instagram writing per Sainey take. The Knicks were never going to include RJ Barrett. I have no connection to the Knicks, obviously. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, I don't think RJ Barrett in the final offer or the final trade package for Donovan Mitchell was included because of them committing to RJ Barrett to an extension, which is why I feel like the Jazz took the Cavaliers deal, because with the Cavaliers deal, they get a rookie, they get Markkanen, who's still young. I don't think he's gonna do great, but like I could see them trying to like flip him. Colin Sexton, who's just gonna put up a bunch of empty stats in Utah, but they're probably gonna do the same thing that Oklahoma does, where Utah is gonna become a place where players who want to prove themselves will go in for a season, put up a bunch of empty stats, and then they'll just flip them for much more than what they were with the season before, right?
But the problem with that, and I'm trying to let my bias go aside, I just feel like the Knicks package, even with Obi Toppin, like if we're disregarding RJ, if it was Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, Deuce McBride, like Derrick Rose for salary throw-in, and then the picks they wanted. Knicks picks are so much more valuable than Cavaliers picks because the Knicks suck. The Cavaliers have Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland, two young guys. And now Donovan Mitchell. With like all NBA upside, like that's all NBA upside. They are not like those are going to be terrible picks in the first round.
I still think it's a good trade for Utah though, because they still did get like a hefty haul for him, and I just don't know if
Colin Sexton is that much of a prospect.
You got to think of it this way, like think of it from this mindset. Sorry, Z, sorry to cut you off. I just want to say this real quick.
Go ahead.
From this mindset. So they bring in Colin Sexton and they sign him to a $70 million 4-year deal. I think $72 million to be exact. Don't take my word for it, but it's a 4-year deal in the 70 millions range, right? They're not committing to Colin Sexton. They're not going to keep Colin Sexton on that team for 4 years. Let's be honest. He's going to be there for one season, maybe two, where he's going to ball out. And then at the end of next season, Utah has this trade asset where it's like, hey, this guy still has 3 years left in him, and he just averaged 25 points for us. And they're going to flip Colin Sexton for something else. If they bring in a guy like Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, or Miles McBride, like they have to commit to those guys. And maybe Utah didn't want to commit to those rookies. Maybe Utah didn't want those guys on their team. They want to build through the future and draft prospects, that are coming in the next coming years. Maybe they didn't want to commit to a young guy who's already like not established himself, but clearly is like a raw prospect that they can develop from now. Maybe they don't like Obi Toppin. Maybe they didn't like Quentin Grimes' game. Maybe they just didn't believe in these guys, because like you're saying, Hoop, these guys do have potential, but they haven't shown that they can reach that potential yet. How do we know that these guys aren't going to flop? Maybe the Utah just doesn't have belief in these guys, which is completely.
Well, I can see it, but it's like with Colin Sexton, there's a possibility that he doesn't ball out either. And I just 100%. Think when I feel like the picks were the main thing in this deal. Like that's what they were trying to get back for Gobert and Mitchell. And I just think the Knicks picks are more valuable. I like from a Knicks perspective. I know it sounds like I should be all depressed. We had another chance at a superstar. We whiffed. I personally think the fit would not have been great. I think Donovan Mitchell would have came. We would have underperformed our expectations and people would have flamed us again.
Right.
And while Donovan Mitchell is going to hold his trade value and we'd still be able to get assets out of him down the line, like that's the one upside of getting him, because when you have Donovan Mitchell, like it's like Kevin Durant. Even if it doesn't work out, you could still trade him away for $1 million assets.
100%.
Yeah. So it's nice to have someone like that, but at the same time, like it's fun as a fan to watch young guys develop. And even if Toppin and Quickly don't work out, like it's fun to live and die with a young team like that. So I'm not really too torn about it, but I just think from a logical perspective, I think Ainge, like if I was a GM, I'd take the Knicks offer with those kind of picks.
Like I can just think that, like I'm not disagreeing with that, but I could just see the Jazz's point of view on it.
Yeah, I just think that the Cavs, like for me, it looks scary on paper. So obviously, when I think back to like certain monumental trades that have happened, at least I don't know this year, I thought back to the Philly trade, the Philly and Brooklyn trade, right? James Harden, and everybody was like, who won the trade? Because Philly let go of Ben Simmons. That was their problem, and just handed them a over to Brooklyn. And then Harden was mad in Brooklyn, went over to Philly, and he has to pair up with Joel Embiid, and it's a whole new squad. But with Ben Simmons, he brings in something completely different for the Nets that they needed, like defense and interior rebounding. I think he's going to thrive in that field. Now, they're not going to really have to worry about him scoring that much. He's just going to be doing and playing his role. With D. Mitch going to Cleveland, I was like, okay, well, how much more talented can this team get? Because they have now D. Mitch. They had Sexton. He went away to Utah, and I was like, okay, same thing that Sainey was saying. He's got like a couple years where he can literally ball out in poverty land and then get traded away for something else to help Utah in the future, the same way that D'Lo was used to get Wiggins to the Warriors, like stuff like that, right?
You got to wear those ugly jerseys now in Utah.
Yeah.
That neon green.
Yeah, he's probably
gonna be pray mad. For Colin, man.
But hey, DG though, Darius Garland, he's got him, Karis LeVert, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, hell, even Kevin Love. I feel great for Kevin Love. That was the first person I thought of. Was like, damn, Kevin Love's been there. It's been 6 years since they won a championship. And Kevin Love has just sat there and watched LeBron and Kyrie go and be at the bottom of the East. Now he's probably got some hope. I don't know what he's gonna do with it, but shout out to Kevin, bro. He's like the grandpa that everybody's gotta look after. Just to make sure he's still kicking.
As unfriendly as Kevin Love's contract is, compared to the production he gives the Cavs, I'm pretty sure soon his contract's up and then he can go on a vet minimum. Them not trading Kevin Love or not finding a trade partner for Kevin Love actually ended up working out so well for them, because having a vet like Kevin Love on that young team is actually going to be sick.
He's a super nice piece.
Yeah. He's actually, that's a sick piece to have. Like, he can almost act as the PJ Tucker of that squad. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say the PJ Tucker, the Udonis Haslam, all in one. Like, he'll be in the locker room. And
he doesn't got that kind of grit.
Yeah, he's not that.
Nah. Listen, tell me this ain't gonna happen. This is exactly how ZZ Huncho sees it. I see Donovan Mitchell walking in. I see Darius Garland then walking in the locker room, going up to Uncle Grandpa Kevin and being like, "You played with LeBron. Can you tell us a bedtime story about playing with LeBron?" They all sit in
a little circle around.
Yeah, Kevin Love's like, "Well, let me tell you something, man. I had to give the greatest stop of my freaking life on Steph Curry in 2016. But let me tell you, LeBron and Kyrie both had 40 pieces. I had to live there. I was there. I was doing it. What'd you do, Grandpa? I stopped Steph Curry one time.
I had a solid. I had a solid 8. I had a solid 8.
He had a 30-point quarter one time.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say.
In the first quarter.
He'd be like, I was.
Love is in the air.
Clay. Who broke the record?
I thought he was gonna have 100 points that game.
I thought, didn't he have a good 40? He didn't really do much after that quarter.
Yeah, we gotta keep it pushing. Z, if you could lead us into our next segment. It's in line with this Donovan Mitchell stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, leading into the next segment, it's called Stacked Deck, which is exactly what we were just talking about with the Eastern Conference. Now that Donovan Mitchell is on the Cavs, however, when we look at the Eastern Conference now, we got certain teams that are looking kind of ready. That you can make a case for making a playoff run. And I'm not going to make the same mistake that I did with the Western Conference teams.
List them all off. List them all.
So what I'm going to say is, every team.
I'm just going to list teams off the top of my head. No particular order. No particular projection. Nothing. The Brooklyn Nets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers, Cavs now, the Celtics, the Hawks with DeJounte Murray. The Knicks are just there for fun. The Bulls, the Toronto Raptors. I feel like I'm missing some teams, but it's fine.
Well, I have them all here. The Wizards, the Pacers, the Pistons, the Magic.
And I forgot about the stepchildren. No one cares about them. Anyway, so with this new acquisition of Donovan Mitchell and spicing up that Cavs team, Hoop, Sainey, what are you guys' thoughts going into this season on the Eastern Conference being kind of up to par with the Western Conference in terms of contenders for those 8 spots in the playoffs? Go ahead.
Well, we're bound to see a sick team miss the playoffs in the East. Just to give you guys some context, out of these 9 teams, one of them don't make the playoffs.
Say Bucks, 10.
No, I'm not saying. Okay, 10.
It's 10.
Oh, okay, 10. We're gonna include the Knicks. Sure. Okay, 10. The Bucks, the Celtics, the 76ers, the Heat, the Nets, the Cavs.
I forgot about
the
the Heat.
The Raptors, the Bulls, and the Knicks.
Thank
Two of
you.
those teams won't make the playoffs.
Thank you.
And I will give my opinion on what teams don't make the playoffs. Or I'll give my 8 teams that do make the playoffs. That way you understand my playoff predictions. And then Hoop, we can lead into yours. But anyways, obviously I have the Bucks. I have the Celtics. I have the 76ers. I have the Heat. I have the Nets. I have the Cavs, I have the Hawks, and in my 8th spot, I have the Raptors. The Raptors always find a way to squiggle in.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that.
I like
I'm
the
not
Raptors.
mad at that.
Like the Raptors to me are the safest bet to make the play in and like.
Oh God!
squiggle
If you
into
got
the
if
seed.
we don't do parlays and gambling or whatever, but if you wanted to do a parlay before the season started, just take your bet that the Raptors are going to find their way.
Yeah,
into the
I
playoffs
would
now.
put my money on the Raptors making it over the Knicks.
Yeah.
Like I'll say
Oh
that.
well, yeah.
What do you mean?
remember
What
that-
do you mean? Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. to
Wait,
you.
what do you mean?
So,
oh,
and just for context, by the way, the teams that don't make it, the Bulls, the biggest one. I don't think the Bulls go back to the playoffs this season. Unfortunately, there's just too much talent in the league. There's too much talent in the league. I hate to say that because the Bulls to me are a playoff team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make it. But at the same time, like, what team do they beat out in the regular season?
but the problem is Zach LaVine. Like I feel like he's gonna turn into a bona fide first option. Like with
Yeah.
I don't know if DeRozan's gonna go as crazy as last year. But when you got Pat Williams coming back, let's say Lonzo Ball's in there, like it's a tough decision. But the Raptors might have to be out. The Raptors might have to be out.
Like that's the thing. Like I
They
wanted
don't
to put the
have
Bulls over the Raptors, but my issue is health with the Bulls.
The problem is the Bulls don't have I'm sorry, not the Bulls. The Raptors don't have that superstar like that. That can be at that level.
As much as I do agree with you, but they have so many great players, bro. Like their lineups are elite, man. Like the Raptors, especially their defense and like Scottie Barnes is only gonna tap into a new level.
I'd say Nick Nurse is literally the biggest factor on that team.
Yeah, for sure. And you have a guy like Nick Nurse coaching that team. Like for example, like with the Bulls, like Lonzo Ball is still having knee problems. By the way, he might not come back. He was supposed to come back at the beginning of the season. He's not anymore. His knee problems came back. Alex Caruso is coming off. Did he come back last season after that Grayson Allen injury? He was injured at the end of the bowl season. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. Pat Williams is coming back, but he hasn't played in so long. It's like the same deal with Jonathan Isaac, where you're like, oh, when he's there, he's a great defender. When he's there, yeah, thank you. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, Sainey, you just made me think of something. You talking about Lonzo's injury? Right. Do y'all remember? I don't know if I saw this on a TikTok or Ball in the Family or whatever the Ball family's reality show is. You remember when LeVar Ball like essentially called Lonzo a bust, like an injured bust?
Dang.
Like you remember that?
I don't know.
But this was like 2 years ago. But like it's out there. Just literally look it up. Like, but he said it a while ago, and like now, like you said,
he was saying it as a joke.
Yeah, he was saying it like as an insult. Like you know how LeVar gets when he gets mad. Like, you're a bust. Like that's what it is. But I don't think he really like meant it. Like he just meant it in the heated moment. Yeah. But
it's like right. But that's kind of wild. But I'm not gonna lie to you, Hoop. I think the Pistons have a better shot at the playoffs than the Knicks.
Oh
stop.
No, don't say stop. I think that's that's not crazy. It's a hot take. It's a hot take. I'll tell you this. It's a hot take, but it's not crazy. It's not crazy.
That's not ridiculous.
Cade Cunningham is going to tap into a new level. If Jaden Ivey works out as well as everybody thinks they will with him and Cade in the backcourt, like what is wrong with that take I just said? That the Pistons. Well, I can see you disagree with it. I can agree if you disagree. Like I can see I'm not going to agree, but I can see your side if you disagree with it. But it's not crazy. It's a hot take. There's a difference. And you can't argue that it's a good hot take. Because let's be honest, like bro,
it's definitely hot. It's definitely hot. I'll say it's a good hot take.
It's hot. It's hot like Minnesota summers, bro. It's not a LA summer. It's just a hot take.
Word.
If you look at the Knicks, I understand that the veteran presence that we used to have with Burks and Noel is now with the Pistons. But looking at the lineup, Jalen Brunson, let's say Quentin Grimes. That's Knicks Twitter, and the entire fan base wants Grimes to start over Fournier. We want Fournier to come off the bench. RJ, Julius, Mitch. Do you think that Julius, is it more surprising for him to have the down year that he had last year, or was it more surprising for him to have the impressive year that he had? I want to see where your head is at with Julius right now. Like, how do you view him?
Surprising that he had a good season rather than him having a bad season.
I just can't agree.
I could see why you don't agree, but I think. Also, by the way, I'm looking at this Pistons roster, and I don't even think it's that hot of a take anymore. I think it's just a take.
I knew.
Oh, they got. I know they got.
They got Kemba Walker. I did not know they had Kemba Walker.
Don't talk. No,
No, but I'm just saying vet presence. I'm talking about vet presence. Kemba Walker, Derrick Rose, same level. 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 Why?
You did
no. Why?
You say that again.
Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose are at the same level right now.
I will end the podcast. End it.
How?
You did not.
No. Did you just? Wait, yes. Hell no. Hell
you guys are just biased. You guys are just biased. I'm sorry.
No. You do not watch. You do not watch. You do not watch the Knicks. You do not watch the Knicks.
Sainey, listen, don't even hoop. I got it from here. As a loyal Derrick Rose fan, I will not let you spew this BS live on this freaking podcast. You are not about to sit here and tell me and hoop that, okay, first of all, hell yeah, Russell Westbrook and Tristan Thompson are in the same fucking boat. If you're going to say,
okay, we can get to it. We're bringing up Westbrook. We're bringing up Westbrook.
Yeah, that hurts, doesn't it?
No, but see, now you're just, no, but see, look, you don't have.
Kemba Walker got a peg leg, bro.
Listen, but like, you didn't even give me a point on why I was wrong.
Kemba Walker physically got shut down last year. Derrick
Rose can play.
Derrick Rose in the Knicks versus Hawks series,
he was the best player on the court
versus Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose was the best player for the New York Knicks off the bench. And you want to know something that's crazy? They bring in Kemba Walker thinking that he was going to be a great starting unit. The reason that if Derrick Rose started...
he played like 20 games.
If Derrick Rose started for the New York Knicks, they would have won significantly more games than him coming off the bench. And that's just when we're watching one playoff series. So, no.
Kemba in 37 starts. 11 points a game on what shooting? 40% shooting.
He's ass.
With 3.5 assists. Bro,
right. Anyway, this is the Pistons.
Hold on. If you were going to talk about the Pistons, you should have brought up Sadiq Bey. Marvin Bagley. Don't talk about Kemba like that. Kemba is rotting.
I'm reading off the roster right now, okay? Their starting lineup, assuming that this is the starting lineup they're going to go. Jeez Louise.
That was awful.
I can't believe that.
I can't believe you said that. I was like, yo, run that back.
I was literally playing with this Gatorade bottle, and then I just was like, what?
All right, their starting lineup: Cade Cunningham at point guard, Jaden Ivey at shooting guard, Sadiq Bey at small forward, Kelly Olynyk at power forward, Isaiah Stewart at center. I don't think Isaiah Stewart's going to be starting center, though. I feel like it's going to be either Jalen Duren or Nerlens.
He'll be starting whenever they play the Lakers.
No, but Isaiah
Stewart finally get his hands on the ball.
Isaiah Stewart is 6'8" as a center. Like he's more of like off the bench.
You're going to tell me that starting lineup?
Yeah, it's the same level as Knicks. They're on the same level as the Knicks. They are on the same level as the Knicks. They are, man. Come on, bro. Stop overrating the Knicks. Stop overrating the Knicks, bro. Come on.
Sainey, I was with you at first, and then you said Kemba
if you were
Walker
to go player by player, who's the best? Who do you think the best player on the Knicks is? RJ?
Him or Randall?
Sainey?
Him or Randall? I'm thinking.
So whoever you want to pick, you think Cade's better than either of them?
Yes.
Now the next best player, you think he's better than the Kelly Olynyk? I mean, Jaden Ivey hasn't played a game yet. Sadiq Bey?
No, but I think
is Julius worse than Sadiq Bey?
No, absolutely not. But I think that Pistons roster can be on the same level as the Knicks. I 100% believe that. How is that a crazy
You said they can be.
Like
you were talking in absolutes before.
No, they are. No. I'm sorry. You're right. Let me correct myself. They will be on the next level. The Pistons and the Knicks will be in the same tier of teams.
I'm not hating if it's a hot take, but for you to. Okay. But just on paper, like
please do not ever say in the same sentence Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose. Please don't do that.
Oh man, the viewers are getting a good show, man.
Yo, bro, how did we get here?
I'm just saying the Pistons and the Knicks to me are on the same level.
So
that's fair. Fair.
I want to move into my list now.
Cool.
So teams that I think will, are definitely locked in for the playoffs: Bucks, Sixers, Cavaliers, Heat, Celtics.
Okay.
That's 5. I'll be honest, like the Brooklyn Nets, they worry me, man.
No,
they're gonna be there.
If they're healthy, I was gonna mention they have to be healthy, but they will.
They worry me, man. I'll say the Nets, but I could see the Raptors getting a 6 seed. And then that pushes a bunch of other teams down.
100%. The reason
it's really gonna be like a battle of health with
The
these
Nets
teams.
ain't got no choice but to make the playoffs.
And that's
I don't
why-
know if I'm KD or Kyrie or Ben. Like, I don't know if I can go through another.
You're
season.
right
they
though.
made
I
it.
can
They made the
see.
playoffs.
Let's say
They
the
made the
Bulls.
playoffs.
If the Bulls have a wreck of a season where no one stays
Right.
healthy and DeMar doesn't play up to, because I think DeMar last year is too much to expect for this year.
100%.
I can
I
see
agree.
like a bunch of teams being over the Bulls.
Yeah, the Bulls, bro. The biggest thing with the Bulls is health. Like a lot of
Trey
their
Young
people-
is gonna have to ball because the Hawks have been known to get low seeds. Like they can ball in the playoffs, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like
They got to be in the. regular season.
they lost some key pieces. They lost Herter. They lost who else? They lose. Like
Bogdan
it's not-
Bogdanovic is injured, I believe, right? Like he messed up his knee last season.
it's interesting. And I was hesitant to say the Celtics at first, only because I know they just lost Danilo for the year on a torn ACL. And Al Horford played
Big Al.
prime DeMarcus Cousins last year.
Prime DeMarcus Cousins. That
I'm
man
sorry.
was literally.
I'm sorry. Just like he played like a 90 overall. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
Like he
he
played
was-
well above himself, and they still barely squeaked by the Bucks. And obviously for the regular season, that's not.
That's not a yeah.
It doesn't
No,
matter
the
that much.
Celtics
But
will
at the
be in
same,
playoffs.
well, the problem is like they were bad to start last year, and let's say if they have some chemistry issues with Malcolm Brogdon's hurt, like they can be a low playoff seed in terms of like
Yeah.
maybe like a fringe play-in team.
My
Not a
list
fringe
is-
play-in team. I'm sorry, like the
I
higher
agree with you.
play-in
I
seed.
can see that. I can see that.
Yeah,
I don't
my
think they're
list
a
is
lock
the
to make the
same.
playoffs without a play-in spot.
But I think they're gonna come in hungry this season, bro, because they lost in the finals.
They should, but I'm saying with the team, like you need to be healthy in the East this
Yeah.
year
100%,
to be good.
100%.
That's
So-
true too. My
So
list is
Z,
the
I
same
know you
as
got to
y'all's.
get but where do we think the Cavs are going to rank like specifically?
I could see the Cavs anywhere between a 4 and a 6 seed. And
Agreed.
the reason I could say 4 is the highest for them because if they make it to the 4 seed, that's them exceeding my mid-level expectations.
I
for
can
them.
see them being honestly like a 2.
You could see them as a 2.
Depending on
I
the
just
health,
think
depending on the health of
Donovan
the
Mitchell
East,
is used to being like the entire Jazz offense.
Right.
And-
And that got them to 50-plus wins.
And they
years
have
on
two
years.
incredible interior defenders. They have vets. Ricky Rubio was incredible last season.
Right.
He's coming back healthy. We already mentioned Kevin Love.
And they
Isaac
got
Okoro
DG
could turn
too.
into a defender. Like
Imagine. So let me ask y'all about the
Harris
about their
LeVert. Like
backcourt.
that, they can
Yeah.
honestly be like a 2 seed.
So what do y'all think about that backcourt of D. Mitch and DG?
I have no issue with that defense. Like I know a lot of people are talking about like their woes defensively, but like bro, the interior
next-
defense,
the next
their front
three
court
are-
defense,
yeah.
it makes up for it, bro. It makes
Yeah.
up for it. Like they might like teams might shoot a slightly above higher percentage from 3 compared to the league average against the Cavs because the perimeter defense might not be all that. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm willing to give that up if I'm getting that much more of an offensive threat in Donovan Mitchell in my backcourt. Like
And Donovan is going to have a lot of offensive pressure taken off him because DG can create.
Exactly.
So
Like, we're about to see-
he's an athletic guy. He could definitely exert some scrappy energy.
for the first time
Yeah.
ever, we're gonna see Donovan Mitchell with some real all-stars beside him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Rudy Gobert, as
That-
great as he was, like he did not have the offensive capability as a guy like Evan Mobley will have when beside
That team's
Donovan Mitchell and
ceiling
Darius
is
Garland.
very high because
Very
I think Evan Mobley, who is probably I don't know where you'd rank him out of the 4 right now. Like he can easily within 2 years become the number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Easily.
No, bro, Evan Mobley, in my opinion, is gonna be a top 10 player in the league very soon.
I think he will too.
Me
Very
too.
soon. But I will say this about the Cavs. Not saying they will, but if somebody were to come up to me and say, "Hey, who's your dark horse to go to the finals? Like, who's your surprise pick?" Or if you had to choose a surprise pick, it'd be the Cavs. Like, they're my dark horse to go to the finals. Dark
yeah,
horse.
I mean,
that means you know how the Celtics,
I understand.
the Celtics
yeah.
were a dark horse to go to the finals coming into this season, right? Like nobody
I
expected.
think chemistry matters a little bit.
100%. If
Um,
everything falls into place and we see injuries happen, which we will, it's the NBA. And it's in favor of the Cavaliers, where the Nets will get injured, the Celtics get injured, the Bucks get injured. Middleton might have another MCL mess up because we all know his knee got messed in the playoffs. Like if things fall in the right place for the Cavs, why not?
Yeah,
I can
I
see
can,
it.
they have the talent.
Let's
It's
keep
all about-
moving.
Yeah, let's head on to the.
Yeah, so the last segment we have for today is called Killa Cam.
Killa
Cam
Cam.
Reddish is on the New York Knicks as of now, but he wants out. And there's been a lot of controversy. I don't know if he formally requested a trade, but obviously the guy is an end of the bench player who wants out of New York, which he just got traded to from the Hawks. He has not played well at all. In the limited time he's played, Knicks fans are upset that he doesn't get more minutes. But we want to talk about Cam Reddish's ceiling as a player. Do we think he's in the right for trying to get somewhere else where he'll play? Or do we think that, he just needs to earn his spot? I could say as a Knicks fan that I think he does not have the right to say he wants out. I think there's so many, obviously Tom Thibodeau loves to play his vets, and it'll have to be an extreme blowout for Cam to sniff the court. But at the same time, Quentin Grimes, who was a rookie last year, got a lot of minutes, and he was a scrappy defender, good shooter, and a win now player. And I think Cam needs to show in practice that he is that kind of player to get minutes. He's obviously not showing something. And people were saying on Twitter, Cam needs to get to another team. He's going to ball out. His ceiling is Paul George. And when I hear that, I think if the Hawks thought that Cam was going to be the next Paul George, they would not have traded him. They would have played him. If the Knicks thought that Cam was the next Paul George, they see him in practice every day. They know what he's about. They would have played him. So I think there's definitely something going on with him that he's not what he's supposed to be.
I think people are just fascinated by his name.
Cam
Reddish is supposed to be tough.
Bro, in high school he was he was one of the top prospects at Duke. He was sick. But I will say this. Excuse me. I 100% agree with you, Hoop. I 100% agree. I don't like how I can definitely understand when a superstar or even an all-star or a high-level player who's actually proven that he can ball out on the court for that team requests a trade when things aren't working. Great example, Donovan Mitchell, right? You want to blow it up? I want out of here. I don't want to be here. What the hell did Cam Reddish do to get that right to say that?
This is worse than Goran Dragic.
Yeah, seriously. What did you do? And no disrespect to Cam Reddish, but I'm just going to say this. I don't like how players are getting comfortable where anybody thinks that they can just request a trade when things aren't in their favor.
He just turned 23.
You just turned 23. You just got traded to the Knicks, bro. You just got traded to the Knicks. Why do you want out already? Now again, we're not Cam Reddish. We're not the Knicks. Maybe some stuff is happening behind the scenes that we have no idea about. That's making him uncomfortable as a New York Knick, right?
What's going on behind the scenes is making him shoot 40% from the field.
From my perspective, it's bro, you're a terrible shooter, efficiency-wise. You have not lived up to your expectations coming into the draft. You haven't even lived up to. You're at the floor. You're not at the ceiling. You're not at the mid-level.
He's an overrated defender right now, too. I think he goes for too many steals. Don't get me wrong. I see the potential. But it takes so much to get that potential. I haven't seen any steps moving forward.
Your potential is not going to be fulfilled if you're bouncing around all over the place trying to find your spot in a team. Because right now, and me and Hoop were talking about this right before we started the episode, the only team you're getting heavy minutes on is the Spurs. If you were to get traded right now, you have not earned your. And the only reason you're going to get heavy minutes on the Spurs is because it's the damn Spurs. And you might not even start. Knowing Popovich, if this guy has an attitude like this, you might not even start on the Spurs.
I just want to add. I want to add one more thing, and then I'll shut up. We were talking about the Spurs because, that's the one place where Cam Reddish can be developed as somewhat of a focus. If Cam goes to any other poverty team, they got Paolo Banchero, they got Josh Giddey, and he's an afterthought. And his ceiling, I think personally, as of now, Paul George, throw it out the window. He could be a nice 3-and-D player
like a Trevor Ariza.
If he can knock. He could be a nice 3-and-D player, but no one's going to take the time to develop him like that.
Yeah,
to focus in on him. He needs to make it happen on a team where that's loaded. He needs to find a spot for himself.
And I love how you say that with the whole idea of how he would be a focus on the Spurs, bro. Am I the only one seeing people wanting him to go to the Lakers and he'll ball out with the Lakers? What the hell? What are we talking about here? In what world do you think that Cam Reddish is going to be a focus on the Lakers? In what world do you think that Darvin Ham is going to bring in Cam Reddish and be like,
he's not playing on that team. He's not playing on that team.
He's not playing, bro.
If he goes to the Spurs,
I would rather play Lonnie Walker over him. I would rather play. Stanley Johnson's gone now. I hate how the Lakers got rid of him. I'm giving Lonnie Walker minutes. LeBron James. He's not taking any minutes from LeBron James, that's for sure. I'm just leaving off the forwards on the Lakers, right? In what world does he get more than 15 minutes a game with the Lakers?
What about Melo?
Melo's not on the Lakers.
No, I'm playing. But if he were to resign, I'm playing Melo over Cam, 100%. I'm playing Melo over Cam.
What the hell did Cam Reddish do to deserve a spot over Melo?
Okay, so here's my thing. If he goes to the San Antonio Spurs, like we talked about, he's not only going to have more minutes and more player development or whatever, but he's probably also going to get a makeover. Like, when you go to the Spurs, he's going to be made over by Greg Popovich. By the time he walks, he's going to walk into the Spurs essentially as Cam Reddish. By the time he departs the Spurs, he'll be Cameron Reddish. Like, that's what's going to happen to him. Greg Popovich is going to completely change the dynamic of his physical makeup as a human and a basketball player, which would be great because, like you said, ain't nothing going on in San Antonio. As a matter of fact, I'm actually kind of nervous about San Antonio's future. I just feel like Popovich is going to retire before they even make it back to the playoffs because, good Lord, it's been a minute. But, like, yeah, if he goes there, I guess. And what's back to Sainey's point about players that think that they can just be like, yeah, I want to move. Like, bro, you're not KD. Like, you don't have that. You're not KD. You're not even Eric Bledsoe when he was like, I hate it here. Like, you're not even on that level. You're Cam Reddish. You're in New York. Knicks fans are pushing for you to get playing time.
Literally.
Without looking at the numbers. And I'm sitting here like, damn, didn't you say he was shooting 40% from the field?
It's one thing if he was balling out, but in 15 games that he played, average 14 minutes a game, he's shooting 41% from the field, 26% from three. It's bad.
Like,
it's really bad.
Bro, come on, bro. Like,
you're not even a 75 on 2K.
Put your head down, grind the season out, try and show what you can do in garbage time so Thibodeau will give you some extra minutes in some important games.
If he can go out for 15 minutes and go guard the best player, be scrappy, like get physical, like that's one way to boost your value. But if you're gonna reach for the steals and passing lanes and miss, and then it's an easy layup, like that's what he does.
You gotta make people
on the Knicks. I think we can move on because I think we're all in agreement that he just should not request a trade.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the facilities for that big man.
You don't have the right to.
You do not have the facilities for that big man.
I don't think it's our place to say whether a player has the right to do something because, again, we don't know everything that's happening from behind the scenes. But from my perspective, it's like, don't request a trade. Just put your head down and start grinding.
I just know KD ain't requesting no damn trade shooting 40% from the field and 26 from three. Why? Because he's KD. So he can, have a say in where he moves. But
this whole player empowerment thing is cool, but at the same time,
sometimes it's like, bro,
it takes it too far. But I think that's the end of the show, right? Oh no, it isn't. No, it isn't. We got Sainey secret segment. Choo choo. Anyway,
who's better?
I have a sick
Kemba Walker or Derrick Rose?
All right, guys. I was just come on. All right, I'll be honest. I don't watch Knicks games. That's on me. I don't watch Derrick Rose.
You gotta at least sit through that, bro.
Sure. I'll know when to take something. Anyway, pause. Anyway, Z, close your mouth. Pause again. Anyway.
Yo.
Anyway, I have a sick question for you guys actually, and I remember I was watching a video of him hooping, and I forgot this man existed. Do you guys believe there is still a spot in the league for Dennis Smith Jr.?
Didn't we just talk about the A Lot music video?
Yeah.
Is J. Cole?
But like, is it because you believe? No. But is he out there? Like, do you believe that he still has a skill set? Because a lot of people think he's out the league because he went to the Knicks and the Knicks ruined him, right?
No, like Hoop said, it was Luka.
Well, I actually hold on. I read into that article further. I want to clear myself up. It wasn't Luka. Luka actually defended him. It was Rick Carlisle.
Oh, really?
Rick Carlisle, he made Luka look like God, and like everyone else was like, praise King Luka, give him the basketball, and like they just wanted to omit everything else. And then Luka defended Dennis Smith Jr. with the way he was treating him, but Carlisle messed it up.
All right. Well, do you guys believe that Dennis Smith Jr. has a spot in this league?
I mean,
not until he can shoot the ball.
They gave IT numerous chances, so I feel like if IT can get 2 chances in less than 6 months, give Dennis Smith Jr. another one.
If he can shoot the rock or play some defense, I'm totally down. But as of now, he's just bunnies. Like that's it.
I would love to see Dennis Smith. I would love to see Dennis Smith get a 10-day on a team like the Celtics, who are going to lose Malcolm Brogdon. I'm assuming due to injuries, like a team
that would be fun.
You know what I mean? Like I want to see him. I want to see him get put on a team that actually matters.
That just needs a replacement.
Or just like if there's an injury, I just want to see him a 10-day and just see what he can do, bro. Because I've been watching his workout videos, bro. He was cooking up Donovan Mitchell in a 1-on-1, or not like 1-on-1. Like it was 5v5, and him and Donovan were matched up against each other, bro. He was cooking. He was cooking Mitchell. It was crazy.
But again, Smith in the kitchen.
In a 5v5 open court runs, obviously you can't never judge that. If we did, Carmelo Anthony would be the greatest player of all time. But He was. I
Or
think.
Michael
I
Beasley.
really want to see. Yeah, Michael Beasley. But I really want to see Dennis Smith with another shot. I always liked his game. I kind of hated how he departed the league so early, but that's life, I guess.
Michael Beasley, your favorite player's favorite player.
Oh my
That's the
God,
greatest
bro.
Mello from the left block. That's what he called himself.
But Z or Hoop and Z, I know we're running short on time here, so this was a great way to wrap up the episode. This was just like smoke from the get go. I think we were just all
Yeah.
on.
We were talking about Russ and his 2K rating.
my
That just kind of kicked
Bro,
it
at
off.
some point, Ronnie 2K was. I called out Ronnie 2K to a boxing match.
Bro.
That's gonna happen, man. Pay per view on DAZN.
Hey,
But,
y'all gotta look up him and his wife. Like he was literally the same size as her with
No
on
matter
his
what
knee.
we do, no matter
his-
what we
hold
do,
on, what is-
the wife
what's
will
his wife's
be
name?
included in the conversation.
I
It does
didn't
not
even mean
matter.
it like that. It
does
just
not
happened. It just
matter.
happened.
The wife
Hold
comes.
on, bro. No, you can't be saying that because I swear to God, I looked up Ronnie 2K and the second thing it said in the suggestions was Ronnie 2K's wife. What's her name?
Yeah, bro, the 2K.
Good
community was-
Lord. Oh, hold on. Like, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up.
All right. Well, thank you for listening in. Episode 15 was a fun one. We'll see you guys on episode 16. Peace.
Later.
Damn.